So welcome everyone as everyone's joining and settling in. Thank you so much for the music and the beautiful photos of the community and the art. It's so wonderful to see everyone here. I am so delighted to welcome everyone on behalf of the Spiritual Assembly. Welcome to the Feast of Masá'il, which means questions. It's so wonderful to have a citywide feast together again. It's been some time. And so as we're all kind of calling in from around the city, we're seeing friends that we haven't seen in a while. So we encourage you to interact, reach out, especially use the chat. If you want to send a private message to someone in the meeting that you haven't seen in a while, you're very welcome to do that. To really take this opportunity to connect and say hello to one another. The assembly conveys its love to every single one of you and wanted to acknowledge that we are still in a pandemic. Our community has gone and is still going through some tough times. And in this context, our community has continued to do some really incredible things, reaching out, checking in on one another, creating spaces to have some honest and vulnerable conversations, and keeping each other inspired and hopeful. And this is just one of these other spaces for us to connect and see how we're all doing and keep inspired and hopeful. So I wanted to frame the timing of this particular feast. We've just had the centenary of the passing of Abdul Baha, and we saw some wonderful gatherings to mark this historical moment. We had gatherings at the neighborhood level. We had a series of film screenings at the Baha'i Center, which was live streamed for the very first time. And we're also kind of convening at a moment right before a series of global conferences that are going to be happening in the coming months. So throughout the world, there'll be these gatherings in preparation for the 9-year plan that will start in Rizwan 2022. And we're also right now in the middle of the current 1-year plan. So this past plan, which started in Rizwan this past year, and we've seen over the course of this year so far, some wonderful efforts to dedicate our teaching to the master in this year. We've seen a series of book 8s happen this year. So wanted to just kind of check in at this midway point of the 1-year plan as well. So the assembly felt it was just very timely for all of us to convene and connect directly. So in terms of an outline of our time together today, we're going to begin, as we usually do, with a devotional portion. We are being a little bit creative and having an experimental experience today. We wanted to try to bring some spirit and creativity into our gathering over Zoom. So be ready for a different creative devotional program today. We will then have our administrative portion, and we are wanting to include in that consultation in our breakout groups to explore relationship building and what we're learning about building relationships during this time, especially with those who are very different from us. So we'll hear a little bit more about those breakout groups. We'll have a report from our treasury and hear about the state of the local fund. And we will have a social portion, an uplifting social portion, where we'll have the chance to connect, maybe even play some games together. We will be organizing a breakout room for the children. So if there are parents with children who are joining you on the call today, if you can put child in your Zoom name so we can identify that there is a child with you, you're also welcome to send a message in the chat so that we can place the children together in the same breakout group, which we thought would be really nice. So with that, welcome to all of you once again, and we'll begin our devotional portion.
Welcome, everyone. So excited for our devotional today. You are in for a treat. So tonight we are going to do something quite special that you may have never experienced on a Zoom devotional before. We are going to time travel. That's right. We're going to go back in time to 6 moments in New York City history and hear from people who were there about what happened as they share prayers and writings with us. So hang on to your armrests, because here we go. Whoa! Oh my gosh! Welcome back! Wow, that was, man, hope you all were holding on. That was intense. Now, we are in 1912 in Brooklyn, and June of 1912. Welcome, but watch out for the carriages. Hope you don't mind the smell of horses. It's all right, you can get used to them, but they're really taking over the streets these days. Today, however, we're going to go with Abdul Baha to visit a church. And it is Sunday, June 16th, and Abdul Baha has been in the United States for around 2 months. He's been all over the town and the newspapers, and today he went to the Brooklyn Unitarian Church to give a talk. And it was an incredible spiritual speech, but afterwards he then went to their Sunday school to talk with the children and their teachers. Oh, wait, here's one of the children now. Oh, hey there, Lua. I heard that you just met Abdul Baha. Can you tell us about it?
I did just meet him, and it was wonderful. He is so kind and loving and gave all of us hugs. He seems like such a kind old man. I wish he would have stayed longer. But he did leave a prayer with us. One of my teachers made a copy of it and gave it to me. I want to share it with everyone because I like it so much. Oh God, educate these children. These children are the plants of fine orchard, the flowers of fine meadow, the roses of fine garden. Let fine rain fall upon them. Let the sun of reality shine upon them with fine love. Let fine breeze refresh them in order that they may be trained, grow and develop, and appear in utmost beauty. Thou art the giver, thou art the compassionate.
Thank you so much, Lua. Now, wow, so amazing to hear from someone who was there, the prayer that Abdul Baha revealed in Brooklyn. But now let's take a short walk through time, just a few days later on June 19th. We're now in Manhattan, walking past busy Fifth Avenue. Now we're dodging automobiles instead of horses, which is a lot harder without the lines on the streets or even crosswalks. Now, thankfully, we made it to the other side safely because we wanted to stop by Juliet Thompson's studio, where earlier today she was working on a portrait of Abdul Baha, who asked her to paint his servitude. You can see the portrait here. But it turns out that today was actually not a day for painting because there was a momentous announcement. Thankfully, we found a pure soul who was there and can tell us what happened. Badi, please tell us, what was it like?
Certainly. So honestly, it was an extraordinary day. A few of us believers were sitting at the basement of Juliet Thompson's apartment, enjoying tea and waiting to meet Abdul Baha, who was there to have his portrait painted. And sometime later, Lua Getzinger came down the stairs. But there was something about her that suggested that something incredible had happened. You could see her eyes were full of light, and she seemed to radiate a spiritual glow that somehow communicated assurance and humility at the same time. So she comes down to all of us and shares about the covenant, the spiritual pact between God and all of humanity, and at its center, Abdul Baha. Lua told us that Abdul Baha sent her to announce that she herself was the herald of the covenant. Incredible. Imagine just how struck we all were just hearing that news. A short time later, Abdul Baha himself joins us. he read to us the Suri Eguzin, the Tablet of the Branch, revealed by Baha'u'llah during his exile in Edirne. And it wasn't until today that we understood the significance of the statements in that tablet, unveiling the purpose of Abdu'l-Baha's exalted rank and station. And so I'd like to share a selection with you today. Say, verily the branch of command hath sprung forth from this root, which God hath firmly planted in the ground of the will, the limb of which has been elevated to a station which encompasses all existence. Therefore exalted be he for this creation, the lofty, the blessed, the inaccessible, the mighty. O ye people, draw nigh unto it, and taste the fruits of its knowledge and wisdom on the part of the mighty, the knowing one. Whosoever will not taste thereof shall be deprived of the bounty, even though he hath partaken of all that is in the earth, were ye of those who knew.
Thank you so much, Badi. What an incredible gathering that must have been. Oh my gosh, the energy to hear that. Well, now, I mean, if we can go from one amazing things to another, while Abdu'l-Baha left our city to travel west, his influence here continued. Now let's move forward to September 1912. And oh my gosh, watch out for the crowds. We're here for a celebration, but not for this one in Little Italy. You can come back for your handmade pasta and sweets later, because we have a wedding to get to. Not just any wedding, but the first interracial wedding in the American Baha'i community, and one encouraged by Abdu'l-Baha himself between Louis Gregory, a prominent African-American lawyer, and Louisa Matthew, a white educated woman born in England. Now, here is a picture on the left that was taken right around the time of their ceremony. Unfortunately, it's going to be hard for us to get in because only a small group was invited to avoid any sensationalist coverage in the newspapers. At the time of the marriage, it was illegal in 25 US states. Thankfully, the couple was able to find a sympathetic Episcopal minister to marry them, as Baha'i marriage was not yet legal. But while we can't see the ceremony itself, I was able to find someone who is there and can share the story with us. Hello, Lily, are you there?
Hello, so nice to meet all of you. I'm so grateful that I was able to attend the wedding. There were not many of us there, but it was a diverse group. Christians, Jews, Baha'is, as well as white and Black people from England and America. The ceremony was simple yet touching. They were both such special souls. One part of the ceremony which most struck me was when a letter from Abdu'l-Baha to Louis Gregory was read out loud. I was so moved that I asked for a copy and wanted to share with you now. He is God, O thou word of truth. Thy letter was received. Its contents indicated that I attained the most great guidance. Thank thou, God, that thou hast attained to such a bounty, discovered the path of the kingdom, and received the glad tidings of the universe, of the Most High. This divine bestowal is conducive to the everlasting glory in both worlds. I hope that thou mayest become the herald of the kingdom, from the means whereby the white and colored people shall close their eyes to racial differences and behold the reality of humanity. And that is the universal unity, which is the oneness of the kingdom of the human race, the basic harmony of the world, and the appearance of the bounty of the Almighty. In brief, do thou not look upon thy weak body and thy limited capacity. Look thou upon the bounties and providence of the Lord of the kingdom, for his confirmation is great and his power unparalleled and incomparable. Rely as much as thou canst upon the true one, and be thou resigned to the will of God, so that like unto a candle, thou mayest become enkindled in the world of humanity, and like unto a star, thou mayest shine and gleam from the horizon of reality and become the cause of guidance in both races. Upon thee be Abba El Abba.
Wow. Thank you so much. What an incredible gathering. Now, I don't know about if you all noticed, but during that split second, we just moved up to another age, to 1919, jumped ahead a couple of years. Top hats no longer in fashion, but we find ourselves at the entrance to the McAlpin Hotel with the decoration and beauty fitting the great spiritual gathering we find ourselves in the middle of. In fact, it's the 11th annual Mashriq al-Adhkar Convention and Baha'i Congress, and hundreds of Baha'is from around the country are gathered here. Now, we're lucky enough to have one of the attendees of the conference. Can you tell us about your experience, Leonard?
I don't have it on my screen. I'm sorry.
Okay. Can you check your chat, Leonard, and see? I think there's some notes from your gathering there. Do you see in the Zoom chat?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Yeah, what happened? The one that was there before is not here now.
Okay, if you hit the more button, it might bring up and then you'll have the option to bring up the chat.
Oh,
Thank you all. It's very difficult time traveling to work out all of the challenges in technology. I'll give you a second, and then we might bring in another.
yeah, I don't see the Zoom.
Okay. Well, now we have someone else who was there. So maybe Safira, can you share with us what your experience was?
I absolutely can. Can you put it in the chat for me?
Yes.
What a historic moment. I don't know if I have ever seen so many Baha'is in one place. It was so special to see the tablets from Abdu'l-Baha in person. It was hard to be without the continual flow of guidance and love during the war, and it feels like the floodgates were just reopened. Did you know that Abdu'l-Baha even sent a cable to the whole convention saying, "Let this be the convention of the covenant"? Believe me, it was. I can't believe that the tablet for the Northeast was the first one that Abdu'l-Baha wrote, and then that Mirza Ahmed Sohrab brought us a beautiful calligraphy version of it. It was such a gift. In fact, I would like to share some of this beautiful tablet with you now. O ye heavenly heralds, these are the days of Nowruz. I'm always thinking of those kind friends. I beg for each and all of you confirmations and assistance from the threshold of oneness, so that those gatherings may become ignited unto like candles in the republics of America, enkindling the light of the love of God in the hearts. Thus the rays of the heavenly teachings may be gem and brighten the states of America, like the infinitude of immensity with the stars of the most great guidance. the northeastern states on the shores of the Atlantic. In some of these states, believers are found, but in some of the cities of these states, up to this date, people are not yet illumined with the lights of the kingdom and are not aware of the heavenly teachings. Therefore, whenever it is possible for each one of you, hasten ye to those cities and shine forth like unto the stars with the light of the most great guidance. God says in the glorious Quran, the soil was black and dried. Then we caused the rain to descend upon it, and immediately it became green, verdant, and every kind of plant sprouted up luxuriantly. In other words, he says, the earth is black, but when the spring showers descend upon it, that black soil is quickened, and divine teachings are unlimited. Now we must not consider our ability. This means the soul of humanity belonging to the world of nature are black like unto the soil. But when the heavenly outpourings descend and the radiant effulgences appear, the hearts are resuscitated, are liberated from the darkness of nature, and the flowers of divine mysteries grow and become luxuriant. Consequently, man must become the cause of illumination of the world of humanity and propagate the holy teachings revealed in the sacred books through the divine inspiration. Praise be to God that the northeastern states are in the utmost capacity. Because the ground is rich, the rain of the divine outpouring is descending. Now you must become heavenly farmers and scatter pure seeds in the prepared soil. The harvest of every other seed is limited, but the bounty and the blessing of the seed of the divine teachings is unlimited. Now we must not consider our ability and capacity. Nay, rather we must fix our gaze upon the favors and bounties of God in these days, who is made of the drop a sea and of the atom a sun.
Thank you so much, Safira. It's so nice that you were also able to attend. Now, we want to then do a far jump into the future. And I don't know if you all noticed while we were just in that second there, we've moved up. Facial beard styles have changed in 1992. Spent a lot of our time in the teens, but now we're going to jump forward. And we are actually outside the Javits Center. And if the participants of the 1919 gathering thought they had a lot of Baha'is on their hands, now imagine having 30,000 in one place from all over the world. And while we don't get to spend 4 days of the event to listen to the speeches at the hands of the cause of God who attended, we do get to hear from someone who experienced the whole thing. Hussein, are you there? Can you share some of the highlights with us?
Yes, good morning, Luke, and good morning, friends. I'm standing in front of Senator Javits Center, which is on the west side of island of Manhattan. As Luke said, there are thousands and thousands of Baha'is are passed me by, and they all dress in, some of them in their native costume. They represent over 180 national assemblies and principality, and they are absolutely looking lovely as they are entering the hall and the chairperson announcing where they're coming from. It's going to be 4 days conference. Mayor Dinkin is going to be here. He's going to declare today as the Baha'i Congress, second Baha'i World Congress of City of New York, which is a proclamation that mayor has issued. We're going to hear from Amatul Bahar Ruhi Khanum, who's going to give a great speech as she always does. There will be music, there will be theater, there will be performance, there will be choir led by Van Gilmore, and Afro-American music is going to be played. And absolutely 4 days of joy and happiness and celebration. The first day, they're going to deal with the life of Baha'u'llah and his story. The second day would be a story of Abdul Baha. The third day, a story of Covenant. And the fourth day, right now, I don't remember, but I'm sure it's going to be an exciting day. As you know, this is the second World Congress. The first one was 1963 in London, and only 50 NSA was representing. Now we have 180, and it's amazing progress we have made. It's a lovely day. The sky is blue. The weather is wonderful. And seeing all these wonderful faces of my dear brothers and sisters is such a pleasure. Welcome to City of Covenant. Welcome to New York City.
Bless thou, King of Kings, the city of New York. Cause the friends there to be kind to one another. Purify their souls and make their hearts to be free and detached. Illumine the world of their consciousness. Accelerate their spirits and bestow celestial power and conformation upon them. Establish there a heavenly realm so that the city of Baha'i may prosper and New York be favored with the blessings from the Baha'i kingdom. That this region may become like the all highest paradise, may develop into a vineyard of God and be transformed into a heavenly orchard and a spiritual rose garden. Abdul Baha, 1912, New York City.
Wow. Thank you so much for your reporting, Hussein. Amazing. And it seems like many of the people with us today were even there at that time. But we're right at the end. As you've noticed, we've transitioned again through another period of time. And much to my wife's happiness, there is no facial hair involved at all. And we are actually moving forward to a place a little bit closer to our hearts, the Baha'i Center, and moving a little bit closer to the present and leaving the Javits Center. We're now at our East 11th Street home, and it seems like we've arrived at a special Holy Day celebration. The place is packed. Love, smiles, happy fellowship abound, and you can hear music notes drifting outside from the auditorium. Let's head inside and finish our journey celebrating Abdul Baha together, listening to a bit of the song Somewhere from the West Side Story, and it's reflective of his profound influence here in New York City, mirroring his vision and of the spiritual victory that comforts us with a message of reunion, hopefully foretelling a time when we will all be joyously connected in person again, somehow, someday, somewhere.